Cody Rhodes reveals everything you need to know, what really happened between him and AEW. Also, why did he join WWE? Also, we're going to talk about Ronda Rousey reportedly walking out of WWE during WrestleMania. I'm calling BS, but we got to talk about it. And then also, we do got to talk about an NXT 2.0 star who is on the fast track to getting promoted to the main roster and why I am very skeptical. If you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button. I'm bringing you the latest in everything happening in pro wrestling. And now with that being said, let's jump into it. Braun Breaker was defeated by Dolph Ziggler at the pay-per-view Stand and Deliver. And now, of course, people are very curious to see what actually happens with Braun Breaker. To have the main event match where the heel Dolph Ziggler goes over, it was a very interesting decision. Now, with that being said, there's been a lot of talk for months that WWE officials were incredibly impressed with Braun Breaker and believe that he could be a major star going forward. And I don't know if now is the right time. With that being said, there was some stuff that came out from Wrestling Observer Radio. Dave Meltzer recently shed light on the idea that Braun Breaker is being fast-tracked. Now, obviously, when it comes to the word fast-tracked, you don't really know what that means in terms of WWE, because WWE, they can change things just like really any company. You could change things with, just a snap of a finger at any moment. But for a month or two now, there has been this belief that Braun Breaker was on his way to the main roster. Now, whether that actually happens at WrestleMania Raw or WrestleMania SmackDown, I'm not necessarily sure. But WWE branding out the WrestleMania shows or the TV shows after WrestleMania definitely is a good indication that they are trying to make them meaningful again, which, truth be told, there has been a huge shift in wrestling fans who are excited to see what this leads to. WWE isn't always the greatest product, but WWE is really good at delivering things when it's least expected. And, I think Braun Breaker going to the main roster right now, it's just going to be really tough. They're trying to push Gable Steveson, Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest. Like, there's quite a few people that they're trying to push. And where does Braun Breaker stand with all of that? I think that's going to be very interesting. If I was WWE, what I would do is have Braun Breaker go for the U.S. Championship, and then Cody Rhodes can go for the World Championship. I think that could be a really cool thing. Plus, obviously, with Gable Steveson, being an Olympic gold medalist, maybe he wins the U.S. Championship. It's going to be very crazy to see how it all plays out. But Braun Breaker going to the main roster, it's a decision I favor. I just don't know if now is the right time. I almost feel like they should just wait because I don't think they necessarily need to call him up just yet, but we'll see what happens. All right, guys, there has been a lot of talk about Ronda Rousey. I'm calling BS on it, but there is this belief that Ronda Rousey was said to be very unhappy about her match with Charlotte Flair not going on last at WrestleMania. Now, for those who don't understand, Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin were on the KO show, which was supposed to be a talk show segment. Stone Cold wasn't having none of that. He got the crowd juiced up. He got them amped up. And what happens? He calls for a ref. And then it actually becomes a no holds barred match, which was honestly just really exciting to see Stone Cold. First time in 19 years with Kevin Owens. A lot of people criticize Kevin Owens for not choosing AEW. But he decided to stay with WWE. He was given the biggest moment in WrestleMania. At WrestleMania Night 1. This does trump Cody Rhodes' return because Stone Cold Steve Austin obviously hasn't wrestled in 19 years. So a lot of people have given Kevin Owens shit for re-signing, but I think he made the right decision. And apparently this decision for them to go on last angered Ronda Rousey. Now, one of the things is Ronda Rousey was promoting this match as the main event, and it was being promoted as the main event of this match. Now, Brian Alvarez said on the WrestleMania recap show for F4W Online that Rousey walked out on Friday and she was told she was not going on last. So specifically, Alvarez said this. He said, "Here's the deal for those who want to know. So on Tuesday, Ronda was doing an interview and she said that she was going on last. She was the main event. On Monday, Kevin Owens said, I'm the main event. Ronda thought that she was going on last. She wasn't. Kevin Owens' show was going on last. When she found out, she was furious. I was told. One person who knows her, so I presume this is true, said that she was so mad yesterday, Friday, that she walked out so she wasn't at the Hall of Fame. Cooler heads prevailed, I guess, and she showed up today." I don't know. I don't know what the hell is happening here. I think WWE's number one goal should be to turn Ronda Rousey into the biggest and baddest heel of them all. And I think stories like this, I just genuinely don't believe them, because I think WWE has noticed a shift in Ronda's popularity, I would assume. And I think if you have Ronda Rousey, if you leak out these fake stories that would definitely get wrestling fans pissed off, then you're going to get her over as a heel when she shows up on TV. Nothing bothers wrestling fans more than hearing a wrestler, let alone an outsider, right? An MMA star coming into WWE and not having the respect for the business, not having respect for things. So, I mean, maybe we're thinking a little too much into this. I just don't know. Me personally, I think just being on that card would be a massive thing, just in general. She actually lost against Charlotte. I don't know if this all plays into it, but if I'm WWE, I would continue pushing the envelope with her going heel and then moving forward for some sort of long championship reign. All right, guys, I want to talk about Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes returned to WWE. It's a story that we talked about a lot on this channel, and I find this to be very, very interesting because there's a lot of details that has been released now that Cody Rhodes has left AEW and joined WWE. So, of course, a lot of people thought this was a work. I'm not reading into any of that. Obviously, it wasn't a work, but Cody Rhodes has basically maintained this deflection away from any sort of issues. In fact, he said that it's basically been misreported. For all the reasons he and AEW aren't together anymore. He's still showing a lot of respect for Kenny and the Bucks and Tony. Everything's mutual. He's happy that they've also done the same. But at the same time, too, when it comes to Cody's situation with AEW, you know, this is a really strange scenario. More specifically, Cody Rhodes said specifically, there was no shred of truth in a lot of the reports that were out there in regards to creative control and money. So there was not an issue with creative control and money. Now, later on, Cody Rhodes actually revealed at the media scrum that he made a personal decision that he felt was best for himself, and the reason why he actually went back to WWE, it's like, there's a lot more to it than just like business stuff. Like, he doesn't want to do management stuff anymore. He doesn't want to be an EVP. He's not trying to do any of that. He actually takes a lot of blame too and says he wasn't mature for it. There's a lot that he kind of says about that I found very interesting. But one thing I found was really interesting. Cody Rhodes told Denise Salcedo an emotional story he shared with Vince about when his family was going through a financially hard period. He also feels like he got closure with Vince when they met up prior to re-signing. So for those who don't know, Cody Rhodes met up specifically with Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon. I believe Nick Khan was also there. WWE has provided him his own bus. WWE is working to make sure the American Nightmare is a main staple of WWE programming. And, you know, it's just like a really cool thing to see that like WWE and Cody have come back together. There's more stuff I want to go through. Cody Rhodes, he just wants to he wants to present himself without fear in WWE. That's one of the changes. Cody Rhodes says that there is no anger with AEW, just says that chapter has ended and he's on to a new chapter. He has spoken to Triple H, says it was a good moment and seeing him healthy. Cody's a little emotional discussing the interaction. Also, keep in mind, Cody Rhodes specifically has mentioned in the past that Triple H is his favorite wrestler. So there is a lot of stuff that has obviously happened in the situation for Cody to come back. And I think a lot of people have been critical over the last few months, but I think Cody made the decision that was best for Cody. As a wrestling fan, I would just say that I think he made the right decision as well. You know, Cody Rhodes is back, baby. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.